All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Bangtail Whiskey. I am locally known Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver. How are you doing, Andy?
I'm about to melt.
Well, we just left the land of beautiful to the land of West Texas.
Fix your windscreen looks a little fucked up.
My what?
The windscreen, the pop filter.
There you
There we go. It's the little things, Jeff. It's the little things.
It's the little things. So we just come back from upper Michigan, northern Michigan.
The UP is what they like to call it up there, Jeff.
Well, we spent a little time in the UP also. Absolutely a beautiful place.
UP.
Prettiest place you've been to in America?
No.
Where's prettier that you've been in America?
Prettier?
Yeah, we got to have some kind of smart cast home not available.
I'll figure that out. Prettiest.
Yeah.
Northeast.
I thought it was prettier than. It's a lot like the Northeast. I'll give
It's
it that.
similar.
Yeah, it was. I love the North, and Mackinac Island was a beautiful place. I would not. I'm tell you right now, if I had a lot of money, I would not own a house on Mackinac Island because I wouldn't have to go through the fucking hassle to get there.
Now let me tell you, had we not taken the tour around Mackinac Island, I would have said that was I would have said that was a bust.
I was like being in fucking Disney World.
It's terrible.
It was. You get off a fucking boat and there's 15,000 fucking idiots there, and kids running around everywhere, and you got to wait for everything.
Yeah. I was not. I was
The worst meal we had was on Mackinac Island.
the first half of that trip. I was not happy.
No. I had a great time.
And then when we got on the carriage ride and learned a little bit about it, and saw the the lighthouses and all that good stuff from up above, and learned a little bit about the history, I loved it.
Me and Mom are going to go back and stay at the Grand.
Why?
Maybe this fall, just because we'd like to go see it again. I'd like to spend some more time up there.
That's
I'd like to
silly.
see it in the fall.
That's silly.
Why?
You've seen it already.
I've seen most every place in the United States already. I want to go back and see some things again.
You got to get on a carriage, and there's a whole deal.
I would like to stay at the Grand for at least one night, maybe 2 nights. We're going to do that. That'll be on our bucket list here pretty soon.
You do what you want to do there,
Well, I'm going to. Don't worry.
I'll worry about you. You fucking got us going to Mexico in February now.
Puerto Rico in May. You're a world. You and Tony are becoming world travelers. See what I've done to y'all?
I don't like it.
Why? You don't like what?
All the going, the hustle and bustle.
You don't have to go to Mexico then.
I'm
You want to
going
go to Mexico in August with us?
That'll be a good time.
Don't you?
It's going to be a good time.
Are you going to go in August too?
Oh no!
You sure?
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking.
I
about
called
February.
today about y'all some tickets.
I'm not going.
You sure?
Hard out.
So if I just gave them to you,
We're not going.
I would tell your wife though.
We can't make it work.
Yes, you can.
We cannot make it work.
You have babysitters here.
We cannot make it work.
Why?
Because we're too busy. School's going to be starting up for Reese. We're already going away again in October, and
So am I. And I'm going in August.
I'm way more important than you are
Okay.
to a lot of things.
Okay.
So, feasibly not possible. I would love to. Sounds like a great time.
Okay.
Can't make it. Can't swing it, Jeff.
You've hurt my feelings. Tell me I'm not important.
I didn't say you weren't important.
No,
I
you
said
did.
I was more important.
Well, that still sounds like you're saying I'm not important.
No, there's just levels here.
So, as most people that know that listen to us, we're pretty open about everything we do. And we went on a family vacation, and we went to northern Michigan. I would like to thank the Bellinger family.
Yes,
And Lucas,
opening their
what
lake
a
home.
beautiful home. We got to stay there for a week. We got to use their boat. Tony done something to their boat. Found out today it was just a sensors. That makes me feel bad.
I'm going to text Jesse.
Tony is not a very good boat captain.
No, well, we had the fucking rope ready.
Yeah, we had the rope ready. We want to get the rope ready, and you almost hit a boat trying to get up a canal, and boy doesn't listen at all. Doesn't pay attention to shit. So anyways, we went out the boat again the second time, and we couldn't get it to start and to idle. It kept dying, and we got pulled to a dock. People at the landing in Indian River took care of us. Great people. Drove me back to the house. Got the molester van that we rented. Let me tell you something, folks, too. I've had newer vehicles for a long time. My truck looks like it's trashed out because I chase tornadoes in it. We scout out in it. I don't wash it. When it rains, it washes the outside. I try to keep the interior clean most of the time. But I was self-conscious driving the Chester molester van.
Well, and you chase those poor kids in the parking lot of that lake.
Do what?
Yes. Those we were debating on whether or not we were going to get out and fish, and there were these poor kids.
Oh yeah,
riding their bicycle in red America, hometown USA, where you can go out, ride your bike, feel safe. And as we're arguing inside the car, Jeff has to circle the parking lot several times, and these poor fucking kids, they keep looking over their shoulder, and there's a white van following them. Don't spill that. Careful, Jeff. You're getting older. And that worries me. You starting to spill stuff. That's the first sign. Anyway, poor kids, there's a Chester Molester free candy van, and it's just fucking following them around the parking lot 2 or 3 laps. I guarantee you they went home and thought they were about to be abducted. Probably took down your license plate number.
Well, it comes back to a budget rental car.
That's the worst. That's when you know. That's how kids
So
disappear.
The highlight of our trip was the house was absolutely beautiful. The countryside was absolutely beautiful. The last day there, Andy opted to stay home. We'd done a rafting trip down a river after they'd had a bunch of rain.
I'm glad y'all had a good time.
That was a great trip.
I'm glad y'all had a good time.
We didn't have negative Nancy wasn't with us on this trip.
I wasn't fucking negative.
Andy, you're whining about everything. Andy, go ahead and tell everybody the story you want to tell them.
What?
We played 7 games of ping pong. And how many did you win?
I won the last one, the most important one.
5-2, I beat him.
I won the last one.
5-2. After a concussion. After a concussion.
Any tournament, it does not matter. It's all about who wins the last one. Listen, you stayed in it too long, Hefe. I learned your tricks.
I beat you 2 out of the last 3. I just didn't play the last game. The last game you beat me. You beat me fair and square. I just was the only one I lost out of 3. I mean, I was up on you. I was up on you 3-0, 3-1, 6-1, and 7-2, and you're better.
You hung on too long. You hung on too long, Jeff. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Whatever.
I just thank God that there's not a ping pong table out here. I go to bed thanking God that we don't have a ping pong table out here.
Well, guess what?
What?
Tony bought a ping pong table, and we're going to set one up in here, and we're going to play during the off season all the time.
We can fucking play anytime.
And I'll be beating your ass just
play
like I did there.
During season, off season, middle of season.
Andy what have you beat me in ever in life?
Ping pong.
One time, one game. I'm ahead of you in the total games. What else?
What are you talking about?
Tennis? Who won in regular tennis?
Jeff.
Who
I'm not a tennis player.
Okay.
You played tennis at the hoity-toity rich shit when you grew up in Dallas.
Basketball.
I'm not a fucking basketball player either. I'll be the first to admit that.
Everything we've played. You know it's true.
We've not gone head-to-head in jiu-jitsu.
I think I've out-wrestled your ass more than you've ever out-wrestled me. You might have been little, but I used to beat your ass.
Kid.
Well, I beat your ass, though. See, that's what makes you tough is I didn't let y'all win.
That's right.
I don't let the grandkids win.
Nor should you.
I'm not going to.
Nor should you.
And we took 3 of the most spoiled grandparents and grandkids in the world on this trip, and it was a great trip for all. Let's talk about some shit going on in the world besides our trip to Michigan. First of all, my prayers got to the people that are living in that condominium. Have you seen the pictures of that?
I mean, I've just seen like the aerial where like half the building.
Is it some kind of fishy there?
No.
You think it's just a collapse?
Just a tragic deal. Of course, you got your fucking tinfoil hat on. Let's
No.
hear it.
No.
No, give it to me. Let's hear it. What Biden how'd Biden cause the building to collapse?
I don't have to say nothing to do with Biden. I'm just saying something is fishy there. It looks kind of like the federal building did in Oklahoma City. You know who lives in the sister building of that?
Who?
Ivanka Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now do you see what I'm saying? Just some kind of thing.
They were told that it was structurally unsound years ago. Years ago, they were told, listen, this is what's going to happen.
Just fell down. I don't know. It just seems kind of fishy. That's a big fucking building just to fall in.
Oh, I agree.
And when I found that them kind of people were living in those buildings, and it really surprised me.
What kind of people?
Well, if the Trumps live in the one next to it that's owned by the same company.
I doubt that.
I just read it that she did. They live in the sister one. Her and Jared Kushner do. They live in the sister one. It didn't look that upscale. And they were out there. That's what I was thinking too, but it is. It is. The HOA on it's $1,000 a month, not counting your rent. Just to be a member of the homeowners association's $1,000 a month. I was surprised by that too, because I was thinking it was probably some old retired, just a postal worker or something that had a pretty decent pension that living there on $50,000 a year or something. Then I found out Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner living there with their 3 kids on the one that's a sister one that's owned by the same company. It's the exact same duplicate of that. If you lived in that sister property, would you get the fuck out of it?
Fuck yes, I
Yeah,
would.
would
They're
too.
saying they're about to condemn it.
What do you think about the?
But yeah, they were told years ago that
What do you
this could happen if you don't take care of some shit.
Well, boy, somebody's gonna get their ass sued on that deal.
Oh, fuck, you know it.
What do you think about the chick hammer thrower that turned her back on?
She's a bitch.
I think so too.
She's a bitch.
See, I'm glad to see that because as liberal as you are, sometimes I kind of worry about you. So you don't believe she has the right to? I think if you're going to represent the United States or Mexico or whatever country you represent, that you should honor their flag when it's played.
I don't have a problem with that.
And if you're going to Japan to the Olympics, when the Japanese flag comes, you
Should
could
honor
stand
it.
and do whatever tradition is.
Should be respectful for
the
the
Japanese
place that you're
tradition.
at.
Yes. You know how I feel about Muslims. I think a lot of them are goat fuckers. But if I went to Saudi Arabia or something and they did whatever they do, I would respect their traditions.
You got to be respectful.
Yes.
You don't want to fucking have your hands cuffed behind your back, thrown off a building.
If Barack Obama walked in the door, I would say, "Nice to meet you, Mr. President." Even though I can't stand the son of a bitch, but I still would be respectful towards him.
He did win the election.
There's no doubt about that.
So,
But I would be that way towards him.
right.
Joe, I don't know if I'd say that to him because I don't think the motherfucker would remember what I said anyway. So, one of the funny things was when we were at Mackinac Island, is the governor of Michigan. What's Queen Cunt's name?
Whitmer.
Whitmer.
Yeah.
The state of Michigan owns a home there, and I guess their summer capital or something. And she's there, and this guy told us on the trolley they drive by it with people in there sometimes, and they will holler obscenities at her. I thought, well, I could see me doing that.
The Independent says that Ivanka and her husband have a place close.
It's the same one. It's a block away. Look on Fox News. It's
But it's
headline
not
on
the
Fox News.
sister. It's
Yes,
not the one that's
Yes, it is
connected.
No, it's the sister property. There's 2 buildings,
Right? They're not
and
a
it's
block
the other
away.
one. Yeah, that's what they said. Fox News. It's a headline there. I just read it on Fox News. It said Ivanka Trump, and then because I was like, what the fuck, and read it because I figured they'd be staying at Mar-a-Lago with Daddy.
I know I would be.
No shit.
Fox News, you say?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go there. I'm up for Fox News, but
What's it say right there on the head page?
haunting pictures inside Doom Miami
Okay,
condo.
go read one of the little deals.
Now
little snippets.
all these people are like trapped in there.
I'm assuming they're dead. Most of them.
They said there's like a fire underneath, so they're getting baked.
I guess would be a fucking way to go. Fuck.
Jeepers.
You know, what's his name is? Did you see where the Israel sent their body search guys
No,
that
I
helped for
didn't.
bombings? Yeah, they went there. They flew him in there. As soon as they got there, they were going to take him to a hotel, and them guys said, "No, let's get to work. We'll just eat dinner on the site." And they went to work there.
Really?
So it was very nice of them. I noticed that none of the Muslim countries sent any help or aid. Of course.
Yeah. Well,
People that listen to this must think I'm pretty against Muslims, and they're right.
I am not seeing anything.
I just read it just
about
30 minutes ago.
her and Kushner.
Okay, well, it was on there 30 minutes ago. I saw it,
Well, maybe they fact
and I was
checked
really
it.
surprised.
Yeah.
Well, no, they said that they had left on Thursday, but they were at the sister property and they hadn't returned yet. They said, matter of fact, when they said something really nice, they said that she has been buying meals for all the first responders and was doing it without any publicity. Nobody knew, and something just found out about it. So it's nice to see people help that don't need always something given to them. You're a lot like that, aren't you? What are we doing here now? My what cuts out?
Your camera keeps flashing or whatever. Not flashing, but it'll go
I read a
blinking black.
waterfowl post that was kind of interesting yesterday on the airplane that a lot of people are complaining because they haven't lowered the limits this year.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a shitty duck season, they say.
Depending on where you're at. If you're getting your ducks out of the waterfowl factory of North Dakota, South Dakota, western Minnesota, in western Iowa, you may be in big trouble. Missouri, Arkansas, that area. I mean, the numbers are way, way, way down. They're talking like epic numbers down. Now, nobody knows for sure what the numbers are because we haven't done anything because we're stuck inside with the China virus, a lot of people, and they're just now getting out. But even the goose numbers shouldn't change much because the geese nest so far up north.
Yeah, they're saying the duck numbers it's just going to be abysmal this year.
Duck season.
But I mean, the limits are. Could you do something this late?
Well, I think the Fish and Wildlife come into the state, and yes, they can.
They could.
Yeah, Bill Clinton fucked us out of 2 weeks of season one year.
How?
Halfway through it, I don't remember all the details.
Fucking camera.
It was which camera is it?
Yours. It blinks. It just flashes, and it's driving me fucking nuts.
In 1997, 98, 99, Bill Clinton signed some paperwork that changed the hunting seasons for summer. I don't remember the whole details. But we had an inept state representative here that didn't do shit. And, of course, he didn't return my phone call after hunting season's over. I never did vote for that cocksucker either. Anyways, they could change it if they wanted to. I don't think anything will get changed. But I think some of the hunters in some areas are going to be hammered real hard by this. And it could be us. I don't think so. I think most of our ducks come from Alberta up towards Alaska and stuff, and I think it's okay. But if you're getting your ducks out of North Dakota and South Dakota, and everybody thinks that the flyway they fly straight down, they don't do that.
No.
A lot of those ducks over there go to the Mississippi flyway. A lot of them do, and it's going to affect a lot of that. Now, I'm reading where in North Dakota and South Dakota they think there's not going to be any corn crop, not even going to make corn
because of the drought.
Yes, because of the drought. And so the birds that come out of Canada that come to the North Dakota, South Dakota, those birds are going to fly around for about 2 days and no groceries, and they're going to go somewhere else.
Right.
So it's going to be...
Well, there's no groceries and there's no water. Water's way down.
It's going to be a very interesting year to see what happens early in the season, especially with a lot of those early ducks. So places like the middle of Kansas might get covered up with greenheads right off the way, or Nebraska.
You know, I think back to the years that we had our drought, we always had a crop. Now,
just no water.
Surely a lot of that stuff's irrigated. Enough of it is, maybe. You don't think so?
No, most of that's dry land shit up there.
I don't know.
When we were in North Dakota, South Dakota, how many pivots did you see?
I remember seeing some.
But most of it was all dry land. They don't need to. It rains all the time. It's like what we've been having the last 2 months. I mean, hell, the corn here, they haven't had to run a pivot unless they wanted to.
Right.
And our corn here looks excellent.
Excellent.
So
it's an excellent year to plant corn.
I don't know the dynamics on planting corn and being a corn farmer. But I think most of the fields in North Dakota and South Dakota are not irrigated. I think they're almost all dry land crops.
This says, take it for what it's worth, well, let me see. I read the headline, and it said there we go, right there. At the present time, there are about 302,000 acres of actively irrigated land in North Dakota.
Okay, here's the problem, though. I bet most of those pivots aren't running off of well water. I bet most of them are running out of them lakes that they till.
Right, but it doesn't say, like I said, and it fucking just says that, and I ain't got a fucking clue on how many acres are in North Dakota.
Well, if you read it right there, it says that. It says this is slightly more than 1.1% of the total cultivated land in the state. 1% of the fields up there are irrigated.
Huh.
You didn't read the whole thing, see?
Well, I'm a skimmer, Jeff. I try to get to the meat and potatoes of things.
More than 265,000 acres are irrigated with center pivot sprinkler systems.
How much of...
So that would be less than 1%.
How much of, like, North Dakota is just, like, badland shit?
Of actively irrigated land, it's talking about
this is
cultivated.
Slightly more than 1%
of the cultivated land, not just land, cultivated. That's farmland. Only 1% of the farmland in North Dakota is irrigated,
right?
And they're in a big drought, so that's a lot. That's going to be a huge number of stuff,
right?
And that doesn't count the sugar beets, alfalfa, and stuff that ain't going to hold any damn birds. So it's going to be a very interesting year for our waterfowl hunting in North Dakota and South Dakota. And I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, nobody does. We're having this summer completely opposite of what they told us to expect. They told us to expect a 2011 summer, and we're having a summer like a great summer for us. Now the West Coast is baking and the East Coast is baking. And for the next 14 days, we're supposed to stay like this weather trend.
Well, now, to be fair, I didn't see anybody calling for a summer like you were calling
Here
for.
we go.
I think you just saw that and...
I read it and said it, but also...
I don't doubt that you read it and said it. Who did you read it from?
I don't even read it.
MSNBC?
It was in February or March. Fuck, I don't watch MSNBC. I don't know. I don't know where I read it, but I read a couple publications that said our weather patterns were continuing to be like 2011.
If it doesn't come from Joe Bastardi, I don't believe it.
Bingo on that. I'll give you that. Joe Bastardi is usually right on pack. He called the cold front, extreme cold front we got. He's called this rain for the next 14 days that now NOAA's calling for. It's going to be a wet, wet summer, it looks like. Now they're talking about the next 14 days. We're talking about middle of July before we're supposed to even warm up at all, if we warm up.
Well, let me tell you, I had to walk outside and find an extension cord, and it is baking.
The humidity is hot. It's only 82 degrees.
I don't handle it well.
I don't like the humidity either.
I'm like a fat kid.
Andy, don't start that shaming again.
Jeff, you have no idea. I sweat so bad.
We all saw you at
my pits.
At Dive Bomb.
It
Somebody
is
asked
terrible.
me, why doesn't Andy wear an undershirt? I was like, I don't know. That's good. Why don't you?
It's fucking, when it's 110 degrees, who wants to wear two shirts?
But it'll soak up the first one. The second one won't show your
Dumb.
pits.
You just fucking, you bake in two shirts, Jeff. I make a living outside. I know. When it's hot, the less clothes, the better.
Shit.
I'm fucking sweating right now. Look at those sweat rings. I think it's because I'm too active. I'm too
that's
active.
what it is. Do you think the
So my
guys?
body's always running.
What do you think is going to happen in Canada? Because they're talking about now that letting you up.
Fully vaccinated.
Is there going to be any kind of downtime there
Let's
for you?
fucking look it up, Jeff.
I haven't seen. I think it would be out if there's anything out. That's. I think July 21st it's going to come out solid.
I thought it was opening up July 5th.
Is it going to be for everybody, or do you have to be fully vaccinated? Do you have to quarantine for 2? I tell you what, we were at Sault Ste. Marie, cool town with lots of history, and while we were there, I noticed the bridge going across into Canada, little to no traffic at all.
Canada plans to open border to the U.S. and EU vaccinated tourists in 2021.
To be granted entry, visits must submit a proof of a negative PCR COVID test result, undergo a 3-day quarantine at a cost of $2,000 per person.
What?
Yep. Canadian dollar of $2,000 per person. So I think that's a little more for U.S. I don't know what the rate is there.
You know, somebody in the government got to them.
Yeah, they're going to get a check out of that shit. They're going to make a killing on that
At
shit.
a cost of $2,000 per person.
So now, if you're going on a hunt that's going to cost you $2,500, it's going to cost you $4,500.
Damn. Sure.
And 3 more days of vacation day to stay at some fucking government flop house.
I wonder how they're going to do that. Like, are they just going to, like, herd the people?
I'm sure you're going to go in a gate and they're going to say, pull right over to that Holiday Inn Express and go in there and you got room 107. And Big Bubba is going to be your roommate. And you're going to stay here for 3 days. We're going to test you when you walk in the door. We're going to test you when you leave. And you're going to give us $2,000 cash before you walk out that door or before you walk in.
Ooh-wee. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with Don Fry. He was a UFC fighter. But anyway, he also wrestled WWE, and he was talking about how crooked John McCain was. If you remember, when the UFC first got started, John McCain was the leading activist to get it stopped.
The UFC?
Yep.
He must have wanted some money out of it.
No. He was getting his pockets greased from Don King. Boxing.
Well, that's what I mean. He was getting some money somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
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 John McCain was a no good piece of shit.
I didn't, but this just kind of rang that bell as how fucking, somebody here in the hotel industry is like, hey, $2,000 per person, send them my way, we'll make sure this happens or whatever. But yeah, John McCain it was human cockfighting, John McCain said. He was getting his pockets greased by the boxing.
Because Don King and then we're going to lose on boxing because nobody wanted to watch boxing hardly anymore.
Right.
I have a hard time with any of our politicians. Both sides of the aisle, I think they're crooked. I don't trust any of them. Mm-hmm. There's nothing the government can tell you. Now, this Delta variant's coming out, and they're saying that they're going to have to, who's going mask and shit. There ain't motherfuckers putting their mask back on.
No.
Nobody trusts the whole fucking system anyways.
And I was shocked in Michigan. Everybody's like, I gotta take that fucker off.
There was nobody wearing a mask.
There were less people in Michigan wearing a mask than there was in Texas.
That's right. I'll tell you what, those people were great people up there too, and they're all red voting good Americans just about that we ran into. But yeah, nobody wore a mask. And they all had one thing in common. They think their governor's a cunt. That was pretty much wide open.
Well, Jeff? Do the math real quick on that. 3
Okay.
days, $2,000.
That's $700, almost $685 a day.
You can get a fucking hotel room a lot cheaper.
Well, yeah, but they're not worried about cheap.
But that,
They're worried about $2,000 every American. Let's just say
they're making up for a lost year is what they're doing.
1,000 Americans come across. That's $2 million. If 10,000 Americans come off, that's $20 million.
You know the number's way higher than that.
Not at that cost, I don't think so. I think you're going to lose a lot of your
$2,000?
do-it-yourself. The whole do-it-yourselfer guys are going up there to save money. They're going hunting. Who's going to go fishing? You're talking about a 3-day Canadian fishing trip might cost $1,500. I have no clue. I've never paid to go on a guided fishing trip in Canada, but I would guess $1,500 for a 3-day fishing trip.
Right.
And maybe it costs $2,000. Who wants to put double of that just to fucking stay at a damn cheap-ass fucking...
Yeah, it's not going to be the Ritz.
No.
It's going to be Ramada Inn or Pray to God.
Did you see the fucking homeless people in New York raising hell?
No.
They've been shacked up in these fucking nice hotels. A lot of them have been since last February and March.
Yeah.
July 15th, they got to get the fucking ass out.
Fuck yeah.
Where are we going to go? The same fucking place you were before, on the fucking street.
Didn't bother you before, COVID.
You know?
Don't let it bother you now.
Yeah.
When we were in Michigan, we went to that Walmart. One fucking checker.
That was ridiculous.
One checker. We had to go get groceries today. There were 2 checkers
We're at
in Stamford Walmart.
Betty, my secretary at the city, she told me today that they went to Abilene, I guess, and she said they had 12 or 14 checkers. I said, no shit. I said, must have been day. Because I told her, I said, we were in Michigan, and I asked the lady about it, and that lady was her and one other lady in the whole fucking store. That don't even seem safe.
What did she say? From this time till like 2 in the morning, is there just going to be 2 of us here?
Yeah. Nobody,
people.
Nobody to work.
Middle of the fucking night.
Nobody
2
will
people.
work. I said, aren't you worried? She goes, not in our town. We don't have a lot of Democrats.
It's
very few Democrats, very few crimes. But
$2,000.
But that's that's the big deal. Now here's the thing. We have listeners from every background. We got Jobo that just works by himself and makes a living and saves some money to go to Canada with his buddies, and they go once a year, and that's their big trip, and go 10 days. We've got the guy that's in a private jet that listens to this thing. I mean, we've got it all. The guy with a private jet, he don't give a fuck.
Right.
He's going to work out a deal that, hey, we'll pay $3,000 for our 3 days and put us up at fucking Four Seasons or somewhere. They're going to have that figured out for the wealthy guy. Money's not an object to people that have a lot of it. See, like, if you told me, hey, Jeff, it's going to cost you $15. Fuck, I don't give a fuck. $15, $15. But if you told me it's going to cost me $2,000, I'd be like, well, I'm going to go do something else.
There's places that are a lot easier to get to.
Yeah, and that's going to be what they're doing is the same thing that we do all the time, is in our country does too. We make it easy for the rich person to do what he wants to do and harder for the working guy.
Right.
Our whole society is set up that way. When beef got hard to find last year, so you had to buy whole beef. Well, only people that had a little bit of money. Not everybody's going to eat, and everybody can afford to eat steak probably, but they can't afford to pay $3,000 out of pocket to buy a whole beef.
Yeah.
You know, they can spend $150 a week, but they can't spend $3,000 at once. So only the people that had the means to get that kind of money could buy it. Well, this is just is another deal of it. You know, you can travel, but you're going to have to do this, and this, and this. 3 days and $2,000. The 3 days is going to kill a lot of guys too, because a lot of guys get off work because if you go up there to hunt for 3 days,
3-day trip,
and you drive up there, and it takes a day to get there and a day to get home, and that's 5 days right there, and they got a week off. Well, now they're talking adding 3 more, so now they're going to take off work 3 more days off work. It's going to affect the guys up there a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely not as simple as, hey, have your vaccination, you get to come and do whatever.
But the Canadian government has done that to their residents too.
Lock them down.
They've been locked down and having to pay X amount of dollars at places they set aside. Trudeau's a no good, sorry little bastard anyways. His mom's a whore too, so.
That's ugly.
It's true.
Well, it just doesn't have to be said, repeated.
Well, he's not going to listen to me anyways.
Well, he might.
I wish he would. I wish he would.
That's tacky.
Yep. And now you're talking. What do you think gas is in Canada?
I don't know. It's $3 here.
Fuck yeah! It's going to be $5.50 up there a gallon,
right,
or a liter, or whatever it is. Going to Canada's got a whole lot more expensive this year if it does open. I still haven't seen anybody go up there to hunt yet. So when that happens, I'm going to believe it. Until I see a picture of somebody laying in a spread in Canada from the United States, I'll believe it.
I hope it's right. I mean, I hope that a lot of people can, because it is. It's a great way to kick off the season for a lot of people. They go into Canada. They hunt the same places. So I hope that we're on the track of getting back to normal. But I don't have the vaccination, so I'm not going.
I was thinking about that on the plane back. I was looking around, everybody wearing a mask and shit. I thought, boy, I hope 5 years from now we're thinking, wow, fucking how stupid we were having to wear a fucking mask on a plane. And you know what? They could drop that mask mandate on planes right now. All Biden's got to do is tell them not to do it, and they take it off.
Well, it's the federal property.
Well, it's his rule. He could do an executive order
Trump
to ban
did
it. Now that we're where we are, they need to take it off. Everywhere else, you don't have to. We went from a free state of Texas with nobody wearing a mask to Michigan where nobody's wearing a mask, but we had to wear a mask in the fucking air.
Because you're on federal
federal
land.
I understand that. We're on federal land. You're in federal space. And I understand that part. I'm just saying it should be, they should drop it. We're all breathing the same fucking processed air that's recirculating in that fucking airplane.
Right.
You think really it's going to make a freaking difference?
Why?
Wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, we're all breathing things through a mask that's not even H1N1 mask.
Depends on if you listen to Fauci or not. Fauci says masks that don't work.
Well, I believe they don't work. You can smell a fart through one. So it's not helping any.
Yeah.
I'm not saying if we weren't all sitting there in biohazard deals, we might not be all sucking in, but we'd all be breathing the same shit. We're breathing the same air on an airplane over and over and over again. The rich guy sitting in first class and the poor fucker sitting next to me is all wearing the same fucking air or breathing the same air.
Speaking of that.
Of poor?
No. What's the cow medicine that you took?
Ivermectin. And it works.
So is that like ivermectin?
Same thing.
It's the same thing?
It's the same medicine.
There's a guy, and his whole, he's read the literature, saw how well ivermectin works, and YouTube has demonetized his channel.
Because he says it works.
Because he says it works.
Who's doing all this? I know you want to call Tony a Q guy and Logan and your mom, and I got that.
Well,
but I'm asking
I don't call
you,
him that.
But, okay, dipshit, clueless.
Weirdos.
Okay, whatever you want to call them. But who's behind all this? Do you understand there's someone up there that's calling these shots to remove shit off? Why the hell would YouTube care if this guy's got on something that works?
I can pull up his Twitter.
But do you see what I'm saying? Who do you think's doing this? There's a power that's doing this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
We're going to get onto this for just a second. And you're a smart person. Like a little bit of common sense sometimes. You don't do fucking math very well, but you're a smart person.
I don't do math at all. And I own it.
Who told him to quit counting votes all at once in 5 states?
Probably the same people that...
Tell them to take that Ivermectin off. YouTube. Would you probably agree on that?
Maybe something like that.
Okay, so see, you're like everyone else. You all think the same thing. But Ivermectin works. It worked for me. Now, I'm not a fucking doctor by any means. Tried to be an amateur gynecologist when I was younger. That was some good times. But now I'm not a doctor. But why it worked for me. Everybody I know that's taken it has worked. And a guy messaged me the other day. I didn't tell you this. He's a podcast listener. He texted me and found out what I took. He took Ivermectin. His wife said, "I'm not taking that shit. I'm not taking no medicine to the doctor. An animal medicine. I'm not taking it." She went to the doctor. Guess what they prescribed her?
Ivermectin.
Did the same fucking thing.
Well, they said the reason that this is such a hot button issue is there's no patent on it. There's no money to be made.
That's all about money. And they didn't want this to work because if we'd all started taking Ivermectin last February or March, we wouldn't have had mail-in ballots, and that's what that's about.
Right.
And that's another thing that we all agree on. They fucked up the whole deal, but that's what it was all about. But that shit works.
But so I guess I was listening. Joe Rogan had him on his podcast. I was listening to it on the plane, and it was Brett Weinstein and another doctor. I can't remember his name, but the doctor. There was a country that gave the patients with COVID-like symptoms Ivermectin, and they gave them like the minimum dose, and it curbs, I think 75% of people that took Ivermectin were fine. They cleared the hospitals by giving their patients Ivermectin. But it's a cheap drug, and it's readily available. So you
can buy it at a feed and seed store.
There's no big money to be made.
No. So on our trip to
But anyway, YouTube, Brett says that it's about half of his family's monthly income. comes from YouTube.
And now they've demonetized him for that reason.
Demonetize him for saying that Ivomec works.
So we went to, when we was going to Mackinac Island, we were on a boat, and there was a lady next to me. We were talking, and I asked her if she thought about having surgery because she was kind of big.
Of course you did.
No, actually.
That's your go-to.
No.
Poor lady.
Actually.
Would you like to have that surgery, or do I just need to hand you a gun right
We
now?
were talking and said something about if we knew where we were eating on the island. I said, no, it really don't matter to me. I said, I can't eat much anyways. I had surgery. She goes, oh. And so she had it before. Anyway, she was a nurse, and so we started talking, and we were talking about Ivomec. And I said that I had COVID, but that's what we got into. We were talking about COVID. I said, things don't taste the same to me. I said, I don't know if it's after COVID, or I said, I had stomach surgery. That's how we went in, and that's we were talking. Anyways.
You got to throw that into all the fat people.
No, she wasn't a fat lady. We were just talking about how things changed the taste. And I said, I don't know if mine's from Ivomec or from my surgery. Anyways, the lady told me, she goes, listen, she goes, I'm a nurse, and I worked on 2 COVID floors here. And she goes, the first floor I worked on, we had 40 or 50 patients, and we gave them Ivomec and what was that other medicine, QFC or hydrochloroquine.
Hydrochloroquine.
And she said every one of them got better. She goes, within hours.
Right.
And we're like, hell yeah, this works good. She goes, then I went to help in another hospital 2 weeks later on their COVID floor, same doctor there. We had 40 patients, 20 of them died.
Yeah.
And she said, she asked the doctor, she goes, why aren't we doing the hydrochloroquine and the Ivomec? He goes, they won't let me do it. The federal government's cutting me from doing it.
Right.
So why would you keep from people from having medicine? That's because of profit. All them fucking politicians should not be running our medical community.
But, everybody wants to, I don't know how I feel. Everybody wants to, where was Trump in all this?
He was put on that back burner. He was being lied to by who and everybody else. If you're in his boat and you have someone that is your,
I understand, but like I said, everybody. This is what I hate about politics: is if there's a victory, it's all this guy. But if something like this happens on his watch, it's there's a lot of red tape.
I agree with you on that. Why didn't he step up and say more about it? I think
and like you said, if he's not getting the proper information, I'll go with that. But I think we give a lot of guys too many cheap victories, and I think we hammer them too much on a lot of shit that is truly out of their control.
I agree with you on that.
Even with Biden.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Biden don't know what the fuck he's doing. That's not Joe Biden up there.
You keep saying that.
You think he actually is competent?
Oh, fuck no.
Okay, so you mean you're agreeing. I don't think Joe Biden from 20 years ago would go along with this shit this Joe Biden here is going to sign.
What did he say about the lady, the Olympic lady that turned her back? I saw they sided with her.
I don't think he really said much. I think he made a comment like a random, I support her right to her freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah.
Well,
if it was a white lady, he probably would have nailed her, but he's worried about pissing the black people off. Nurse Aaron has got, I was looking at her Facebook earlier today, and something she said, I think they've screwed up and awakened the masses. I'm looking forward to reading her comments. So I'm assuming that there's something that's happened today. They're finding out all about this mask and shit and the big pharma and the drugs. That's what's coming on, and people are catching on. If you live anywhere in the world right now and you hear this, get you some Ivomec and put it in your fucking house, just in case. Because this new Delta variant's going to come out, and it's probably going to get wiped out by Ivomec too, and they're probably going to do everything they can to. They want us fucking sick for some reason or scared. And I just don't I can't see the end game for them.
Last year it made sense.
Yeah,
it was an election
year. But I don't understand why you want
to keep
why
it
you
going.
want to take and I used to argue with Dad about this all the time. He'd say something like, God, Dad, we pay the bills for the whole world. Why do they want to ruin our world, And then things were going so good, and we seen they did for an election. But what to me, it seems like you'd want to take everything off and make Biden look like he's great so you can stay in office. Because
maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're just prolonging it for the midterms and stuff. And then right before the midterms, they'll open up all the way, say the numbers are great, and oh, look what we did.
And that could be it. But here's the thing. I couldn't stand Barack Obama because of his policies. I wasn't a Bill Clinton fan either. Bill Clinton, though, was really good because we had the internet. And so everybody made a lot of money at that time and things were good. Well, if Barack Obama would have went in and done a really good job and things would have been good, I could probably say, well, fuck, I don't have no problem with him. If he's doing a good job, well, fucking Biden's not helping nobody. Right. There is nobody in America right now, unless you own the lumber company, that's making any fucking money.
And even that's short-lived.
Yeah, there's nothing good going on right now in our economy. And they sit there and they bullshit you and lie. They own the media. and that's so they control everything. But this Ivamec is something that if we would have all been doing this before, probably would have saved a lot of lives. Just like fucking what's the dickhead governor of New York, Cuomo. How the hell's he even going to be able to run again? His ass should be in jail.
Why?
Sexual, so all the sex shit and stuff. Anybody else would be grilled to death over that shit.
Do you really think it was a big deal, though?
It would be if it was a Republican.
Well, yeah.
If he was using his place to get a Hummer or to have sex, then yes, it's wrong. If he was just sleeping with some babe and she wanted to sleep with him because he's the governor, no. It's just like a movie. If I'm a director of a movie and I'm sitting at my desk and some 21-year-old hottie comes in and starts taking her fucking clothes off and shit, hey, if she wants a movie bad enough for her, I never promised her a movie. Mm-hmm. If she thinks that's going to help her get a movie, I go right ahead. She's a grown-ass woman if that's what she wants to do. But don't come back after you get 5 parts and 10 years down the road and come back, hey, you were sexually exploited. You know? Sharon Stone's pulling that shit down when they showed her twat on Basic Instinct.
You knew what you were showing, bitch.
Yeah. There's no way. She uncrossed her fucking legs to show her a clam. And now she wants to act like that clam ain't being seen by everybody. I mean, every person I know stopped their fucking DVR and watched that or the damn VCR and paused it for a second there. But I don't understand why now she acts like she's victimized by this.
Ivermectin could have saved millions of lives, but doctors were told not to use it. The Defender.com.
Okay.
The Defender.org. You can read it.
Who told them to, though? That's who that person that's telling them not to do this is the same person that's taking care of YouTube, that's doing everything else.
Right.
There's some fucker sitting in a big ivory tower somewhere that's calling our deals. Is it the dickhead that was the Holocaust guy, the fucking dickhead, George Soros? Or is it, the Rothschilds or whoever it is? Somebody's doing it. It's kind of like the Clinton guy. That fucking guy just died the other day. And nobody in the FBI is like, we ought to try to investigate this shit.
the McAfee guy? Somebody said, is that who you were talking about or
not? No. But I'm glad you brung that up.
But hold on. Listen, if you're listening on YouTube, don't demonetize our channel because we're just starting to make some money off of it. So,
who do you think? This is what I read on him.
McAfee?
John McAfee was a weird fucker. I mean, he used to let people shit on him.
Hey, listen,
nobody normal does that.
Listen, what's the football player's name that did it? Odell Beckham.
He's not normal.
Cleveland Steamer loves it.
Look at his head. That's why it's got that. It's not fucking.
Do you think that's why he shaved his head?
I don't know.
To get a new look?
No, once you get dookied on, everybody knows about it. You're gonna be the dookie boy forever.
Man, I feel bad for him.
I don't.
Do you think it's true though that Odell likes to get shit on?
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I know that John McAfee does. He's got videos and shit. People shitting on him.
That's gross.
And it wasn't even hot chicks, but would that even make a difference?
Ugly people pooping on him?
Like Guatemalan village girls. He'd give them $5 and they'd go eat some corn and shit on him, I guess. Seriously.
Is there a consistency that he liked? Like, was it creamy was better?
I don't have a clue.
But the full
where do you get into that where you want someone to shit on you? I'm going to be honest with you. If you shit or puke by me, I'm going to throw up.
Right.
So it ain't going to happen. But I can't imagine having a hard on and somebody throwing up on me. Oh, do it again, or shitting on me. There's no way.
It's got to come up by accident. Like, it has to. Like, one time you're doing anal a little wrong and she didn't prepare and it comes out in a little nugget on your penis. And then you're like, it's kind of hot. And then it
well, yeah, it's hot. It's coming out 98.7 degrees.
Or you have totally like just done everything else sexually and there's nothing else to do. It's one or the other. Either you stumble on it by accident or like you're looking at the bitch like, I got nothing else.
I hope my list is a lot longer then because I hope that ain't coming up on my list ever.
Just poop on me because that's about the only thing that I got left for you to do.
I think since I'm 53 that I've passed that time of getting shit on.
I think if it was ever in your wheelhouse, I think you would have explored it by now. I'm trying to look at John McAfee.
You imagine
if you ever wanted to do
you shit on me, please.
Would you please just do this?
John McAfee, very bright man, very very bright man. We're really fucked up, dude.
But was Clay talking about him on a podcast? I don't remember that.
I don't remember Clay, but let me tell you a story about him now. This is the story coming out right now. John McAfee developed the antivirus programs for the Dominion voting machines.
We're going to fact check it.
Look them up.
We will. Oh, I will. Was this before or after he was getting pooped on?
Just look it up.
I want to see the gets pooed on.
He offered to get on into a phone on a criminal case that Apple would not help the cops on.
Oh, in his mouth too.
Don't look up his shit. And
John,
look up.
I want to see John McAfee, who paid people to poop in his mouth, interviewed. Oh,
Okay, get off that shit and go look up the Dominion voting machines.
that
If he
is
did the
terrible. Him and Hunter Biden need to get together and have a party. Okay, what did you say now,
John
Jeff?
McAfee and Dominion voting machine. Just put John McAfee and Dominion voting machine. It'll probably come up.
Dominion voting machine.
Yep.
Oop, not machining, not matching. Oh, in his mouth too. Whew. Mysterious posts show up on John McAfee's social media. Dominion voting machine used McAfee software.
Okay.
ifunny.co. I don't think we trust that though.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Read the
Here we
one
go.
that-
ABC News. ABC News is talking about it right here. Well, that's the My Pillow guy. He's not John McAfee.
No.
Dominion voting software. But anyway, how's he tied to...
Supposedly, he made some sort of program for the Dominion voting machines, and he could get into them.
So is he not a Trump guy?
Who?
McAfee.
I don't know if John McAfee was or not, but he was a liability to them. That's just John something else. I don't say nothing about John
No, he
McAfee.
did too. I saw it in the thing. We got to find it. A lot of dead air again. I got to get better at this.
We need someone hired to just sit here and do the deal.
Well, YouTube doesn't pay that good. See, it said something right here.
Look at the one on the bottom, though. It says, time to pardon John McAfee. And who knows how good this is, but...
City data. See, that's what I worry whenever it's,
Anyways, I read a story that said that John McAfee was involved with the Dominion voting machine.
I mean,
I have no idea how solid it is, but if he
this right here, the Western Journal, if you can...
I don't know anything about the Western Journal, though, either.
Mysterious posts show up after he was reported dead. Not long after McAfee's apparent suicide in Barcelona prison was reported on Wednesday, it's since deleted.
I guess he made a Twitter post that said Q on it.
I guess that's it right there.
I guess so.
Allegedly.
Yep. And anyways, supposedly he knew something, and what happens? He commits suicide just like Epstein did. His wife said he talked to her the night before and said, I love you, and blah, didn't say anything about it. And he had made comments to them that they were going to try to kill me.
Well, he tweeted that he was not going to commit
Oh, they
suicide.
think that he was assassinated by the deep state, but we're still alive. He's probably with fucking Epstein somewhere getting shit on while Epstein's banging teenagers.
This says, according to QAnon, which we all know about those fuckers, McAfee was assassinated by the deep state or is still alive or may have even been the anonymous poster known as Q. He might have been Q himself, not Donald Trump. We never know. One poster even claimed he was snatched by Q. Maybe Trump took him because he wrote the encryption that protected the Dominion voting machines at the center of the election fraud conspiracy.
Well, he is a very weird dude and has been. I mean, he lets people shit on him. So.
That's an open and shut case is what that is.
Just more to the mystery.
So that's the conspiracy around him.
Yes, that he had something to do with the Dominion voting machine.
How rich was he?
At one
And what
time,
did
he was very wealthy, $1 billion.
What did he get arrested for?
Look it up and see. I don't know. It's probably tax evasion. I think he hadn't paid taxes in the United States since 2008. About like what's Reverend Al
Right. The fucking flies are getting out of control in here.
arrested. It's the fifth one down or sixth one, first one right there.
Arrested in Spain. Calling for a second autopsy. So the U.S. had just extradited him?
Oh,
Is
and
that
now
what it was?
Ed Snowden says Julian Assange is going to be the next one to go down.
That was like a rape deal, wasn't it? For Julian Assange?
I have no clue. I think it was because he turned in all those WikiLeaks on him.
Julian Assange.
I think
I
so.
thought they were trying to get him for like rape or something.
No, I don't know what I think it's for the WikiLeaks shit. They're just trying to put. It may be sexual something or another.
He was evading taxes right there.
Okay, that's yeah. And what's her name? Pamela Anderson's big buddies at Julian Assange. She even flew down to Ecuador somewhere and went and seen him at the some embassy or some shit where he lives at. Now Ed Snowden is the
Yeah, sex charges.
okay. Ed Snowden is the spy that
Yeah, I know who that.
consensual sex allegedly turned unconscious because of a case because a condom broke. What the fuck? I don't have a clue.
Assange refused to put on another condom or something. I don't know. But they dropped it apparently, 2019.
So if you're having sex, this is an interesting deal. If you're having sex with someone and the condom breaks, then you don't put another condom on and you continue to have sex, that's considered rape. That's really weird.
I assume so. Well, I mean, is it?
I don't know. That's kind of an interesting.
Now, that's on the motherjones.com.
Yeah, we know all about Mother Jones.
Maybe ABC News will have something. And, I mean, I don't know. This is all very new to me.
What do you think about all the stuff?
So, like, I don't know, like, what to... Oh, that's a video.
Yeah. What do you think about all the stuff going on now with, Tucker Carlson?
What's going on with Tucker
Tucker Carlson says that the NSA and them are trying to leak stuff about him to try to ruin him and get him kicked off of Fox News because he's got some info on politicians.
Huh.
It's the new breaking thing right now. I don't know nothing about it. But
boy, what a fucking life Julian Assange is having to live.
live in a fucking Ecuadorian fucking embassy.
I mean, like, he can't go outside either, can he? Like, as soon as he steps on the street, right?
I think so. If he gets out of there, he's arrested.
out of there. So, like, he can't even leave that place. Swedish authorities have discontinued a rape allegation against the WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. After review of the evidence, what did you review? The condom? Huh. The evidence is not strong enough to form. I don't know.
All right, let's get off air. We have another podcast to do, and just kind of give
4:30, isn't it?
Yeah, update on life.
I don't really feel like we talked about anything.
We really didn't. We just kind of bullshitted today. We're gonna have we got a retired Navy rear admiral be on at the end of the week. That'd be a very interesting conversation. So we look forward to having him on. Thank y'all for listening to you. God bless y'all, and have a great week.
Check out all of our great sponsors. Check out Lucky Duck. If you're in the market for a new dog kennel, they can hook you up. Check out Gundog Outdoors, Pacific Custom Calls, Dive Bomb Industries, Boss Shot Shells, Dirty Duck Coffee, the Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Bangtail Whiskey, Goose Creek Retrievers, Eyesight Drone Service, and Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.